Hello, thank you for joining us for this very exciting Halloween special. We've got a great game that we are all excited to play. It's called Eat the Reich. And we've got a special guest here to talk about it. We've got Grant, who is one of the creators of Eat the Reich, along with a bunch of other fantastic
Hello, I've joined you on your podcast.
games.
It is I, Grant Howitt.
the,
I'm
coming straight
going
from
to do this
Transylvania.
voice the whole fucking time.
Oh boy. All right, so I got a weird one for you out of the gate. So, this is a game about vampires killing Nazis.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not
But I
going to do
wanted
the voice
to.
the whole time. Hi, it's
Okay,
me,
all
Grant
right, that's
Howitt. Normal voice. I'm sorry if it scared you, listener. I know it's Halloween. I wasn't a Dracula. It was just me. Sorry, so go ahead. Nazis.
too many gat dang Draculas around here. So I want to talk to you about werewolves real quick. All right.
Oh, yeah,
So
sure.
if a spaceship filled with astronauts is on its
hmm
way to the moon,
hmm
one of the astronauts is a werewolf. How's that work out? Does he wolf out in transit?
I've got an even greater question for you, which I'm going to counter.
Okay.
Keep that spaceship going all the way to Jupiter.
Okay.
You've got 17
There's a lot
moons
of moons
around
in
Jupiter.
You
Is
jumped ahead.
is it per moon?
How does that work? Are they attuned to a
How does
specific
it
moon?
how does it work? I think so. I
You've skipped to question 6 in my 7-part series of questions about werewolves. So,
I wonder what the other ones were.
oh, we're not going to get to them anymore. They're gone.
I think that it's much more exciting to have it as like, yeah, you trigger somehow. I think what I'd rather see is when you're that close to the moon, it triggers latent lycanthropy. So Guy doesn't know he's a werewolf going up. He lands on the moon and suddenly, and then admittedly he'd freeze to death and float off into space. So maybe it's we can work, but a werewolf in zero G.
So, I mean, that's part of it. Do you think, right here, it says, do you think modern spacesuits could accommodate a werewolf's transformation?
Depends on your fiction. I
Oh, no.
think if you look,
This isn't fiction, baby. This is real life.
oh, I'm dreadfully sorry. Absolutely, those things are hugely reinforced. Those things are reinforced to combat the vacuum of space,
Yeah,
and
so
I
it'd be like a
think that
bonsai werewolf.
absolutely, yeah. It'd be like a tube of toothpaste in there, just full as an egg, all the way from top to bottom, full of wolf.
I love it. All these moons. Do you think the wolf
Mhm.
is attached, the wolfening, pardon me, is attached to a specific moon, or is it any moon? Also,
Like,
follow up. I don't know if you
mm,
know this or not, but Earth is going to have a second moon for a very little bit coming up in a couple of days here.
what?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it was on the news, and I don't look at the news, but
yeah.
great.
That's the
What do we
important part.
do?
Moon party. That's it.
Okay, cool, great.
Yeah, I
What?
think I think that means you run around with your butt out. Show it to me.
Congratulations, baby moon. So while it's tempting, like my instinctive response is like, no, there is a special relationship between Luna and her children. But nah. It's just straight moonlight. That's all that happens.
Okay.
Once you get bright enough moonlight, it kicks to a certain degree. If you catch all 17 moons on Jupiter, it's like the end of Acura.
You turn into the super wolf.
Absolutely.
So if it's just moonlight, it's just sunlight that's reflected.
Mhm.
Would you be able to like trigger a werewolf with like a pocket mirror if
It would
you
have to be
reflected
one
the
made out
sunlight?
of moon,
Great answer, fantastic. So
because at
you are
that point you could
clearly,
trigger it with sunlight. Hmm.
thank you. I by the power vested in me by the state of Illinois, you are now granted the title of Werewolf Master. So,
Oh wow.
um,
Gotta call my
it
mom.
comes. Yeah, you have to make your own badge.
Told you I'd
I
make
don't have
it.
any. Mom, it finally happened. Okay. Also, what about space vampires? What do you
Have
think?
you read Blindsight?
I have not heard of Blind Sight.
Listener. If the idea of space vampires gets your downstairs in a fizz, check out Blindsight. It's available for free online as an HTML document, which is possibly
Oh,
the
cool.
worst way to read a novel.
Yeah.
But it's the softest hard sci-fi I've ever read. I don't like hard sci-fi, but this
Okay.
does so again this is nothing to do about the game. It's still interesting. Um, in this, they say that vampires have to be 10 times smarter than humans to hunt humans. Humans are 10 times smarter than cows, or humans are 10 times smarter than their prey.
I've met
So
some
that
real stupid people.
on average, mate, I'm sure there's some
Okay.
real dumb
Okay, damn
vampires out there.
it.
So vampires have to be smarter than humans to hunt them. Therefore, an awful lot of this smarter or this cognizance comes from, if I asked you to count the apples on the table and there were 3 apples, you wouldn't have to go 1, 2, 3. You'd just see 3 apples and know there were 3.
Yeah.
Vampires can do this with up to 200 because they have this incredible sort of cross-referencing layer on their brain. However,
Okay.
there's no such thing as a right angle in nature.
Okay.
And if a vampire sees a right angle, it overloads the cross-referencing
Okay.
grid pattern they have in their brain, which stuns them, which is why they can't look at crucifixes.
Okay. Okay.
And
All right. I'm gonna read this.
everything in the book is a ridiculous explanation. It's like an overstuffed suitcase full of ideas, which all hang together. It's really, really charming. However, yeah, the officer in that is a vampire. It's very good. I think space vampires are cool. I think that like they don't need to breathe.
Yeah.
Like their bodies will freeze out there, but they've got much more play than your average soft human. Personally, aside from the fact that it's quite tricky to come by blood in space, I think they should be okay.
I like all of this stuff. Uh, tell us about Eat the Reich.
Oh yeah, yeah. The reason I'm on the show. So Eat the Reich has been described as smooth-brained one-shot bait, and I'm not entirely against that as a description. It is a big, dumb, loud, over-the-top one-shot game. It's derived a lot from a game called Wushu, which was released back in like 2099 maybe, which is an incredible system. It was the first game I ever GM'd, and it has this wonderful freewheeling approach to narrative and player creativity, which will unfortunately ruin every other game for you for at least 3 years.
Okay.
It's like every other role. If you think of every other role playing game, it has a character sheet with a list of like. I think I put this. You can't do anything unless your character sheet says you can.
Gotcha. Yeah.
For example, let's say for example, pick locks. That was a rogue skill, and so no one else could pick locks. And so the game says, no, you can't pick locks unless you do this. Wushu has no nose in it. You're not building up to anything. There's no rules for XP because you're already exciting enough when you start. And so it's the cocaine of role playing games. It's the pick and mix of role playing games. It's satisfying for about 20 minutes afterwards, and then you need some more. It's not a full meal. And Eat the Reich is based on that system. It's basically a complicated game of Wushu. And I really like the way that Wushu you could have like a character arc, you could have a narrative, you could have everything happen in about an hour and a half to 2 hours of frantic play. You get a lot of stuff out there. You get a lot of screen time for all your characters. And rather than hang about saying, oh, I think I'm going to rent an apartment across from the objective and look at it for 2 weeks. No, you go in there and you do that, and it's fun. And so Eat the Reich is based on that. Eat the Reich is I should also say what the pitch is. Sorry, I'll do the voice. The year is 1943. Europe is in flames. You are a vampire commando, tasked with one mission: coffin drop into occupied Paris and drink all of Hitler's blood.
Love it. Dude,
Thank you.
that's enough. If that doesn't get your attention, get your interest, I don't want to talk to you.
Well, and like I will say, it's a great pitch for cons because
Oh yeah.
because like if people aren't excited by that, well, lovely to meet you. Have a good day, and you can move on and talk to someone else.
Yeah. You don't want to kill the Nazis? All right, I don't want to talk to you then. It's a great way to weed out the weirdos,
Wow.
or weed in the weirdos, depending on how
Yeah, so that's the thing.
how you like
This
to
is a
live.
game of ultraviolence. This is quite a weird game in terms of like expressly the characters that are there to perform hideous violence and cannibalism, technically, on Nazis. And the game offers you I don't offer any support for that in the game, aside from the fact that it's the most straightforward way through, and you can murder everything. And apparently, like what I've seen is a lot of groups, like by the time you tick towards the end of the campaign, they start getting bored of the ultraviolence, and they're like, oh, we'll try something else. And it's this. I think there's something quite good. There's something quite fun about that because initially you have this power fantasy where your first reaction is like, right, it's absolute violence. I'm going to kick a car through a wall and then have my mate drive the car down a ramp and then it blows up and Hitler's there. And he's like, no, but in this, you have that absolute power. You do all the murdering, and you're like, oh, well, what else can I do? And you just sort of start fucking about at the end. It's tremendously good. It's a straightforward D6 pool system. It's, again, drawing in from Wushu. It has an unusual way of doing narrative authority, which is that the GM is basically there as a celebrator of the players and a loose director, but everyone else is really in charge of every single beat to beat. So the example I give is not so in most role-playing games, you say, I'd like to pick the lock. Okay, cool. Roll to pick the lock. Okay, cool. Blah, 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 I got 17. Great. Okay. All right. I open the door. Tell me what's behind the door. In this, it's like, I pick the lock. No, wait, sorry. I kick the lock off its hinges. It kills 3 men. I charge inside the room where there are 2 chandeliers, each more beautiful than the last. and you can just set up whatever you like. The dice are there to provide a pacing mechanic, but it's this sort of free-form celebration where the characters are given almost godlike powers, and from that, players are able to create something exciting, which is fast burn. It's we've got all the characters baked in, we have the adventure baked in, and it is a very specific experience. It is not an open-ended thing like most role-playing games where you make your character and the GM makes the story. The path of the narrative is collaborative. Like the path of the narrative is predetermined. In this, it's the individual beats and the icing, or what particular fruit you're putting in the cake,
Yeah.
which is up to you.
How did you decide to make that kind of product rather than just another role playing game system?
Well, okay, it was a joke. I was on a plane and I wrote, "Eat the Reich. Are you a bad enough dude to drink all of the Führer's blood?" I thought that's quite funny. It's pretty good. That could maybe be the back page for a one-page game. And then I sort of did a little bit of writing about it. I was like, maybe this could be the front page of a one-page game. And I did a little bit of writing. Oh, this could maybe be a 20-page, 30-page book I could put out along the lines of Orc Borg. Orc Borg was a sort of zine thing, which I wrote with Roland Kunz a few years ago. It is Morkborg or Merkberg, sorry, Merkborg. I don't know how it's pronounced.
No one knows.
Yeah, even the Swedes, the sort of gutter punk Swedish fantasy grim role playing game. We took the M off it and made it about space orcs.
Morkborg gets a lot of play on this channel too. So
Have a look at Orkborg. I've heard it described as if Merkborg is Mad Max, Orkborg is Dodgems. Orkborg is bumper cars. It's like
oh,
playing
got
on
it.
easy mode. So
Okay,
you're just
fair
sort of like you're tumbling around. You're very hard to kill. The apocalypse is coming, and everyone's really excited about the apocalypse. So they're trying to make it come faster.
enough. Okay.
Anyway, sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah,
That was
that's me.
Orkborg. I thought we could do something similar to that. I dropped Will Kirkby an email, the artist. I dropped Will an email. Do you want to do this? We're going to knock it up on Kickstarter. You might get like, I don't know, 10 grand or something out of it. I'll give you half the profits. What do you want to do? It's yeah, cool. That sounds good. 10 grand's a pretty good deal for illustrating a book in this day and age. It really got out of hand, and I can
I
I can
believe it.
attribute that to I'm going to say 95% to Will's art.
It's
Will
amazing.
he's done such a cracking job on this. He's been a joy to work with. He's been so enthusiastic. He's been so he did every single page. Every single spread is unique. There's like little
Yeah.
jokes he's hidden all around the place. He's put so much work in, and I sort of fucked about with a Google Doc. And then like he laid it out. He did all the stuff. He did a
He
lot of
did
the
the
clever
layout.
stuff with the game. Yeah,
Wow.
he did the layout. Yeah, he's incredible. He did the clever stuff with the game, which looks beautiful. I wrote a game which I think convinces you it's dumb and is actually a little bit smart. Um, in as much as it's very empowering for new GMs. It's very empowering for players who want to have a spot of story game, but they don't want to think about relationships, but they want to be creative. It's beer and pretzels in that way, and I think that there's something quite clever about that. Which I mean, we got best adventure for it on, so obviously. Sorry, I say we got best adventure. We have a large enough audience that we won an Emmy, which is pretty
Yeah,
much what
you
it
got
breaks
well. You
down
got
to.
by my research, it looks like you got a couple, two
Yeah, we got three.
trios. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Will got best cover, best interior art, and half of my best adventure award, and I got half of his best adventure award, and we'll
There you
go with
go.
that.
Oh man, it is gorgeous. I picked it up at
Mm.
Gen Con, and so did basically everybody else that's involved in this channel picked up a copy.
Yeah,
And
it's bright pink and it's thirty
oh yeah.
dollars. It's incredibly easy to buy. It's so profitable. I kind of wish I wasn't giving Will half of the money, but you know what he did a lot more work than me, so that's fine.
I was gonna
I'm
say
fine
it's
with it.
generous of him to give you half,
No,
but
sorry. I don't want to. I said that in joke. I don't want to come across as bitter. Will has been an absolute joy to work with, and I'm so happy to give him half the money. Like he is,
yeah,
and like also it means that. So Will didn't have the experience to run a Kickstarter himself. He'd done one Kickstarter. It hadn't gone terribly well, and so he was nervous about doing another one. And we do Kickstarters all the time. That's kind of what we're good at, is kickstarting books without a Brandon Sanderson attached. And so we were able to combine his incredible work with our infrastructure and the game, which means that you can take this and then have fun with it, and it's inspiring. You can have some fun with your friends. To mean that we got, I think we're at 350 grand by the end of it. It's a
nice.
huge amount of money.
Yeah,
And like for quite a low price point of this, it's very industrial. That's industry term. Sorry.
yeah.
Um, we it it was really good. It was exciting. It was artistic. We got quite a lot of kickback against
Really?
it from both sides of the fence. In that the right were worried that it was too woke.
Oh well,
But
it
like
does. It
you,
does include things like anything. So
yeah, it's got extensive safety tools, and we had 7 sensitivity readers because I don't know whether they clock
yeah,
this. I'm writing a game about fucking Nazis,
yeah,
and so and like the GM has to role play Nazis, and so like, hey, you gotta be safe about this. We had James Mendes wrote a bunch of extra stuff which we put in the book, which I'm really thankful for. But we had a bunch of sensitivity readers, and they were great. And only one of them asked not to be credited, which is who was our expert on France. So good, fine. Sorry, they asked not to be credited, but also said, hey, there's not much wrong with the book. You're fine. Like, publish it. Just don't put my name on it. Which I respect. I like to think that there's something to be said for that. We had a bunch of safety tools, and so a lot of the right were like, "Oh, you put politics in my goddamn. I feel you're talking down to me, boy," which I had no time for. And then the extreme left were much angrier
really
at us. Yeah. It's
promoting violence.
well, yeah. It's weird that this is controversial, but we promote
Yeah,
physical violence against Nazis.
yeah,
It's-
fuck them,
and like,
fuck them.
you should be violent against fascists.
Yeah.
But we've had people get in touch and be like, "Oh, actually, I want a refund because I don't agree with that." It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's been accused of being like what's the word? A resistance theme park or something. So like it's a space you can play in to get to cart it, but it doesn't actually change anything. And we accept that. We're
Well,
not.
sure,
It's
yeah.
not.
I mean,
It's not fucking Praxis.
yeah,
It's a big dumb game. I shouldn't write a game about World War II. I think some of my detractors feel I shouldn't be writing games at all. And like honestly, I can respect it. I've done enough. I've written enough games.
take a break.
Fine,
Take a
fine.
break. Go on vacation.
Yeah, but a
But
lot more people liked it than didn't. It's been wonderful to see this game spread like wildfire, and to see so many people say, "Oh, I've never run a role-playing game before," or "I haven't played a role-playing game since high school." But like they're so excited. It's got all the nice character sheets and everything's done for them. I'm just going to get my friends over, and we're going to dress up like vampires, maybe, and
nice.
we're going to have a bottle of wine each, and we're going to dick about, and it'll be fun. And it's enabled that, so I'm proud of that.
Hell yeah, I am very much looking forward to playing this one. I got two more for you.
Okay, fire away.
Here's the tough one. This is the hard-hitting question. At what point do a person's words cross the line from freedom of speech to make them an acceptable target for actionable justice?
Bloody hell. Woofed.
At what point does someone say something and then you go, yeah, now it's time to punch you in the mouth?
I don't know, man. I mean, like, that's such a tricky question, freed of context.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that, like,
Okay.
it is. I think that we should be. I don't know. I'm not really a violent guy. I haven't met any Nazis. That's.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Good
Sorry.
for
Yeah.
you.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? I probably have.
Oh.
Somewhere. In my. And I've known some people with some pretty reprehensible views in my time. I don't know. Like, so we do have a calibration of evil checklist in the book.
Okay.
We have
Right.
a because and this is something which James wrote for us, which is right. Here are the absolute unforgivable things which no one in this game will do, whether they're baddies or goodies or what have you. And this is just stuff which we are not okay with telling stories about, and we don't want you to tell stories about it either. We're not into it.
Sure.
Or like, sorry, this game isn't about that in that way. And then the next one is like things which baddies will do but not goodies, and then things which goodies will do and so it goes all the way and things which goodies have to do. So it's like, you gotta drink blood. You have to drink Nazi blood in this game, and that's okay. Well, our unforgivable sins, it's like none of them are fun, and none of them are light topics for a podcast.
Yeah.
So I might move on.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. It was a tricky question with a tricky answer. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I like to think I dodged it very well.
I applaud you. So, and then let's see. What is your favorite vampire movie?
Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate up a hill.
Oh, Blade, classic.
Blade.
Okay. All right.
Love
Okay.
Blade.
Oh, yeah.
Blade 1, not the others. I think
The
I've
second
got
one's got some parts. The third one's exists.
the second one. The second one is it's running on Mortal Kombat 4. It looks like hammers. It's
Yeah.
awful. Yeah, okay. But the first Blade film, slick as fuck.
Oh
Tremendous.
yeah.
Really love it.
Oh, this
Stylistic.
scene in the
It's
nightclub.
brisk. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Right,
Oh
right. And
my
that's
god.
one of the scenes you can have in an action film. And also the action bit isn't the exciting bit. It's the reveal. They're like, hey, do you want to see how many vampires there are? Yeah, tremendous. Very exciting. Big fan of Blade. Oh, there must be a second vampire film I like.
That's the only one.
Uh,
Oh, and then I got one more. I lied. I said there were two. There's three. Uh,
Jesus.
yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep you here all day. With the success of
Mm,
Eat the Reich and the way it's formatted, where it's
mhm.
basically the whole thing, everything you need for the one shot, right in one place. Do you think that there will be more like a series like this, more Vampire Commandos kind of stuff?
I want to do other games using the engine.
Okay.
So the base game, what this was also inspired by, aside from Wushu, was a game I wrote back in 2013, I think, called Havoc Brigade. You can download it off our website. It's PDF only, because we didn't really print it. And it is you play a group of 6 pre-generated orc commandos having to do
Nice.
a stealth mission
Okay.
into. Sorry, listener, I did
Finger quotes. Yeah.
yeah, finger quotes, into the imperial town of Freiburg, and it's Warhammer basically. But you play 6 orcs, and again you're very powerful, but you can't fight everyone, and so it's about sort of applying pressure and moving through the city and that sort of thing. But it's much more of a free form fuckabout. It was very important in Eat the Reich that all the characters be a little bit sexy or a little bit sort of either handsome or interesting or cool looking.
The
One of
bat.
the well,
Sexy bat.
some people are into
Sexy
Flint.
bat. Hey,
Will's got a good hand. Um,
he's got those eyes.
one of the characters in Havoc Brigade is 6 goblins, and
Oh,
when you
that's
heal, you find
fantastic.
additional goblins. It's much dorkier, it's much grimier, it's much more slapstick. I'd really like to sort of give that a proper go and re-release that in some way using the Havoc engine. I'm already seeing people using Havoc engine games like for their own games, as well as one on Kickstarter soon about Goblin Trash
Nice.
princesses.
Nice.
But as
Nice.
far as Vampire Commandos goes, no, I've told the story, really. We've got some idea. We don't normally do merch. We're not hugely
Sure.
into merch, but this has a big audience, and Will's really good at drawing. And so we are interested in other things we can make, which allow people to give us money, basically.
Yeah.
Because once they've bought Eat the Reich, there's not much else they can buy. So we've got the patches which you can put in your jacket. We're
Got it.
looking at like next year we're looking at getting we've got like a dice set which we're interested in releasing. So Will's done like custom art on all the dice. We've got a bomber jacket which we're interested in doing. See if
That's
we can
pretty
work that
rad.
out. And it's pretty cool. And it's got like coffin stamps down the arm. But finally, what I'm really excited about is we're looking at doing 6 miniatures for it. So
Oh, hell yeah.
one for each vampire. We've got the designs and stuff, and we need to get them all sort of sorted out. But broadly, this has been really cool. People have been really resonated with it. We want to be able to create cool things for it and then get more money from that, so we can carry on making other stuff.
Hell yeah.
But in terms of games, I'm not especially like I don't think we're going to see an Eat the Reich 2. I really want to get a story of the order of nuns who supply blood for the coffins.
Okay.
We had like there was like a couple of throwaway lines about them, but then I wrote them up more so Will could do some fluff. And the idea that like these are nuns who are run by an immortal undying vampire, and they do gun running and espionage, and they're like 70s cool,
Yeah, I'm in.
like Euro spy nuns. So like there's definitely fun things to explore. There's definitely fun things to do, but I am wary of just doing, oh, and here's some more characters, and here's that, because we threw everything we had into that first one, and I'd much rather one let Will collaborate with someone who would make a more traditional game, which might have a broader appeal without a great sell. And two, I want to keep collaborating with other artists. I want to
Yeah.
keep like the model of having one writer and one artist. I want to open up more people to write, one writer, one artist, mashing them together and seeing what comes out, and it'll be about 70, 80 pages long. And so
Cool.
making effectively art books with a role-playing game in them. And
That's cool.
it's cool. It's not as profitable as making another big book or, a fifth ed product, although that ship's sailing in it. That ship's
Yeah.
that ship's going across the water to Elfland. Who knows what's going to happen to that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's yeah.
it'd be like fourth ed all over again.
Yeah.
But
Oof.
um, So yeah, I mean, I want to do more effectively things which are approached with like the same level of play in them as a zine. So like, this is a one shot, this is a short form thing, this is part of something bigger. This is weird and strange and experimental, but which have the same, which have these really lovely production values, and they last a long time, and they're pretty to touch, and they're pretty to touch, pretty to look
Hey,
at, lovely to
okay.
touch, pretty to touch, and keep making nice books for perverts, basically.
There you go. Man, I look forward to all of it, and I wish you the best of luck with everything. It's all been great so far, and I am excited to look into Orkborg and Havoc Brigade. I think if I bring those to the guys on this channel, I think I'm not. I'm just gonna show it to them, and they're gonna be like, "Yes, I'm in." So it was awesome.
Send them the buy link. I
I
can't
will.
stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. I need a new everything. Send them the
There
buy
you
link.
Oh man, well thank you again so much for being here for this,
Thank you
and
for having me.
I'm really looking forward to playing this, and hopefully, whatever comes out next, man, Hollows or anything else like that.
God,
If we get a
God,
chance
I
to
hope
run
it's
it,
Hollows.
if we get a chance to run it, I'll try to bug you again, get you back in here.